Hi everyone, this video is about the best spot to catch fish. I was going to write secret spot, but that's a little too clickbaitish. So a lot of beginners go, where's a good place to catch trout? And where to go, and I'm going to reveal some super secret places in a minute. But the first thing we have to talk about is what do trout eat? So here's my super high-tech system here. So if we know what the Mayfly cycle is all about, we know that there's eggs that are dropped. The eggs eventually turn into nymphs. The nymphs crawl around on these rocks down here, eventually come up to the surface, become a dun, float on the surface, and then become adults made up here, and then drop eggs and become spinners. Okay, that's not a big deal. I tend to like to fish with dry flies, which means that the fish have to be up here in the sky to catch them. So it's really kind of a dumb thing to do. But if you want to catch fish, mostly these fish are eating these nymphs. And these nymphs aren't swimming around. They're typically crawling around on the bottom. And when the bottom gets dislodged, the nymphs get dislodged, and the fish typically are sitting downstream hoping for the nymphs to come floating by, and then they eat them. So they're waiting for disturbances in the water. So if you think about it in those terms, where is the best place to catch a fish? And if I'm having a tough day and I want a surefire way to catch at least 2 or 3 fish very quickly, there's a couple things. So I'm going to show you some Google Maps. This is a Google map of probably the most holiest place to fish in Michigan. And as you can see, this is the river launch there. And just to give you a sense of it, if you think about it now, the fish eat nymphs, right? And they eat it when the rocks are dislodged. So where does the Department of Natural Resources put most of their fish? So every spring, a truck comes here, drops off, 100,000 fish or so, like a lot of fish. And those fish hopefully swim through this system. But you can guess where most fish end up, okay? They're going to end up in this area, okay? And then they'll spread out over time as it gets down. But you're going to have a lot of fish in here. And a lot of fish don't leave this area either. They just kind of hang around. So here you can see there's kind of like a riffle area here. This is a deeper pool area, and there's another riffle right here. So what's the best thing that happens? So the fish are hanging out in this deep area, right? And then there is a dinner bell. It's called canoes. And all the canoes are launched. And what happens at a canoe launch? The bottom gets banged around, kicked around and stuff, and the nymphs. So the fish hear the aluminum banging on the thing, banging on the rocks there. They go, oh, it's time to eat. They line up in this direction. Then people are walking around, splashing, paddling, doing all their stuff here. So guess where the nymphs are going? They're going downstream this way. So the fish are all lined up in this area here, waiting for the food. And as they wait for food, boom, 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 boom. If you are even along the shore, just wade out a little bit and cast through this riffle down the way there. You're bound to catch a fish because that fish is looking for food, and the current's pretty quick, so they're not going to be super careful about what they're doing. Another good spot, again, in this particular area is, so we know that fish are here and they're hanging around waiting for this thing to happen. The other thing that happens is the canoes come around this end, drift boats, a lot of drift boats come through, dragging their anchors. Guess what their anchor is doing? It's rocking these rocks around. So it drags these rocks, knocks them around, the nymphs get loose, and guess what? I think every time I've fished on the Au Sable, I've caught a fish in this area. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that name. So that's a typical way. Always downstream of a canoe launch, right after the canoes have launched, is a good spot. Here's another spot. And again, this is a secret river nobody knows about. Probably actually the most heavily fished river in the world. So here's another spot. This is where the canoes, after they've taken off from that other one, they come in and land here. And this area is a riffle. This is all stony stuff. So the canoes come banging in here, crashing, people rolling over, flopping around in the water, drunk. There's also a high concentration of beer in this water too, by the way. And so guess where the best place to fish is? Right in this area here. The fish are sitting here waiting. They come out of these deep areas and they say, oh, we hear the dinner bell, the aluminum against rock sound, and the scratching of the canoes there. And again, they're going to line up all in here. And if you run a nymph down through here, boom, 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 you're going to catch a fish. Up here, not quite as much up there, but mostly below hand, because that's where the nymphs are going to be floating through. Again, there's a little bit of a riffle here and then another deep pool here. So there's typically a couple spots where that's going to happen. Okay? This is the same area, just a little bit upstream of that little bit wider shot, just to give you a sense of where this is, what's happening here. Whoa, we don't want to lose that. But it's the same kind of thing. So here's that canoe livery. Again, good place to fish is right in here. And often you'll see a lot of fishermen sitting here, but really the best spot is right down in here. The other place that happens is, and again, if you use Google Maps, you can often tell these places. Here's a riffle over here. And you'll see that there'll be lots of fish here, especially as your drift boat comes down through here, dragging its anchor. If you drag the anchor and then hold up here, this corner, this kind of a corner would be perfect for fish. So essentially you're sort of chumming a little bit on the way. Also right in front of this island here is a good spot, because again, you've got your riffle, you've got a lot of disturbances, you've got canoers splashing around trying to get in. And again, that's where you're going to do it. So think about what's happening. Think about that the water is being disturbed, and get downstream of that and match the nymphs that you have. You don't even have to match the nymph. Just have something that's an attractor, and eventually you'll get a good fish. So this was my secret way to catch, the secret places to catch fish. It's also the best spot to catch fish.